Well, the official version put forward by the Belarusian authorities is that the crew of the plane said that there was an explosive device on board, issued a cry for help and requested to land at Minsk airport, and that's why the Belarusian military scrambled a fighter jet to accompany the Ryanair jet to Minsk. That version does not seem very plausible for the simple reason that the plane was much closer to Vilnius airport in Lithuania, which was its destination, than it was to Minsk airport. So the sensible thing to do would have been to land at Vilnius if there really was a bomb alert. So that has led the Belarusian opposition, most of which is in exile, to say that the plane was hijacked, to call for an international reaction. They clearly think that this plane was deliberately brought to Minsk in order to arrest Roman Protasevich, and the international reaction has started to come in. The Lithuanian president calling for Roman Protasevich to be released immediately, and clearly saying that the Belarusian regime is to blame for this.
It was early morning when they entered Al-Aqsa mosque compound, more than 100 Jewish settlers escorted by Israeli forces. It was the first time they were allowed in since May 4th. Palestinians under the age of 45 were barred from entering the complex well before their arrival, and those who were already inside were cleared out. Israeli police denied that there was any age restriction. Those who opposed the orders were detained, including 4 from the Islamic Waqf that oversees the site. They were later released with conditions.
The lush landscape of Georgia's Rioni Valley is being re-engineered for the hydropower plant of Namakhvani. When completed, 2 dams, one over 100 meters tall, will boost the country's annual electricity generation by up to 15%.
You can see the tunnel there that's going to divert the river that will allow them to build a massive dam across the gorge. A feat of engineering to tame this force of nature, the Rioni River, that will transform the valley for better or worse.
Downstream, in Georgia's second largest city, Kutaisi, thousands recently protested over fears the dams could unleash a barrage of floodwater if there was an earthquake.
Hey, good morning. So we should note these are preliminary new numbers in from New Jersey State Police. A very fluid situation here because this house party, a 90s themed birthday party, had so many people at it, hundreds of them who began running for cover and running for their lives when the gunfire started. At this point, police are telling us 14 people total were shot, 2 of them dead, a man and a woman, 12 others injured. I want to zoom in and show you what's happening here at the scene. You can see crews from New Jersey State Police and their canine teams looking for evidence, a grid search underway after the shooting broke out. Witnesses are telling us this was supposed to be a celebratory party, nice weather, restrictions easing, so they gathered at this large yard for a celebration. But then at midnight, witnesses say they've started to hear gunshots coming in from the tree line, from the woods, and that's when everybody started running for cover.
Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Attahiru, and 10 other officers who were killed in a plane crash on Friday have been laid to rest in the capital city of Abuja with complete military honors. The military officials died when the plane crashed on Friday after making an official trip to the Kaduna state. The incident on Friday occurred due to inclement weather as the plane was landing at the Kaduna International Airport. The armed forces said in a statement, adding that the crash claims the lives of 10 other officers, including the crew.
Abel Murrieta was out campaigning, like he is shown here, when a gunman shot him in broad daylight at point-blank range. making him the latest candidate murdered in one of the bloodiest election campaigns in Mexico's recent history. Running for mayor in midterm elections, Murrieta died on May 13th in Ciudad Obregón, a city in the northern state of Sonora. An ex-attorney general of the state, Murrieta, was the 83rd politician killed in Mexico since September 2020, according to one security consultancy. Security analyst Alejandro Hope says the attacks are the most brazen examples of an even larger problem plaguing Mexican politics.
A new report in the Wall Street Journal has added fuel to a theory over where the coronavirus came from. On Sunday, the newspaper cited a previously undisclosed U.S. intelligence report. They say 3 researchers from China's Wuhan Institute of Virology got sick and sought hospital care in November 2019, months before China disclosed the COVID-19 pandemic. That report goes beyond the State Department fact sheet from January, which said that the symptoms of the researchers were consistent with, quote, both COVID-19 and common seasonal illness. Debate as to the origins of the virus began even before the health crisis became a global one. The Trump White House asserted that it escaped from Wuhan's virus lab. Beijing has consistently denied this. In response to Sunday's article, China's foreign ministry called the news hype from the U.S. and accused it of trying to divert attention.
The vaccine rollout remains sluggish on the continent where there is not enough supply. So when the southern African nation of Malawi burned nearly 20,000 doses of vaccines this week, it raised a lot of questions, especially because the government's decision to burn the vaccines went against advice from the WHO and the Africa CDC. Both organizations advised Malawi not to destroy COVID-19 vaccines, saying even though they had passed their expiration dates, they were still safe to use.
It was an event put on for the cameras. 20,000 doses of Malawi's COVID-19 vaccine allocation laid out to be destroyed. The health minister personally led the exercise to send a message to the public who've been skeptical of the vaccines.
There was also a shocking performance by Kamala Harris when she met the president of South Korea. This was a little clip that was doing the rounds on Twitter over the weekend, James and Rita. And we see, I'll show you in a second, you see Kamala Harris shake the hands of the president there of South Korea, but then watch her reaction. That's right, a nice little shake of the hands and then wipe your hand on your thing. I mean, it's awful stuff. And of course, if it were Donald Trump, had it been Donald Trump, can you imagine, James, the outrage that would have occurred? It would have been the end of the world. But Kamala Harris, nobody bats an eyelid.